spontaneous transfer of heat is always from warmer objects to cooler objects. If several objects near one another have different temperatures, then those that are warm become cooler, and those that are cool become warmer, until all have a common temperature. If you hold one end of an iron rod in a flame, the rod will become too hot to hold. Heat transfers through the metal by conduction. Conduction of heat is the transfer of energy within materials and between different materials that are in direct contact. Materials that conduct heat well are known as heat conductors. Heat from the flame causes atoms and free electrons in the end of the metal to move faster and jostle against others. The energy of vibrating atoms increases along the length of the rod. Conduction is explained by collisions between atoms or molecules and the actions of loosely bound electrons. When the end of an iron rod is held in a flame, the atoms at the heated end vibrate more rapidly. These atoms vibrate against neighboring atoms. Free electrons that can drift through the metal jostle and transfer energy by colliding with atoms and other electrons. The tile floor feels cold to the bare feet, while the carpet at the same temperature feels warm. This is because tile is a better conductor than carpet. The good insulating properties of materials such as wool, wood, straw, paper, cork, polystyrene, fur, and feathers are largely due to the air spaces they contain. Birds fluff their feathers to create air spaces for insulation. Snowflakes imprison a lot of air in their crystals and are good insulators. Snow is not a source of heat. It simply prevents any heat from escaping too rapidly. A warm blanket doesn't provide you with heat. It simply slows the transfer of your body heat to the surroundings. Strictly speaking, there is no cold that passes through a conductor or an insulator. Only heat is transferred. We don't insulate a home to keep the cold out. We insulate to keep the heat in. No insulator can totally prevent heat from getting through it. Insulation slows down heat transfer. Snow lasts longest on the roof of a well-insulated house. The houses with more snow on the roof are better insulated. Another means of heat transfer is by movement of the hotter substance. Air in contact with a hot stove rises and warms the region above. Water heated in a broiler in the basement rises to warm the radiators in the upper floors. This is convection, a means of heat transfer by movement of the heated substance itself, such as by currents in a fluid. Convection occurs in all fluids, liquid or gas. When the fluid is heated, it expands, becomes less dense, and rises. Cooler fluid then moves to the bottom and the process continues. In this way, convection currents keep a fluid stirred up as it heats. Convection occurs in all fluids. Convection currents transfer heat in air. Convection currents transfer heat in liquid. With a bit of steel wool, trap a piece of ice at the bottom of a test tube nearly filled with water. Place the top of the test tube in the flame of a Bunsen burner. The water at the top will come to a vigorous boil, while the ice below remains unmelted. When the test tube is heated at the top, convection is prevented and heat can reach the ice by conduction only. Since water is a poor conductor, the top water will boil without melting the ice. Convection currents stirring the atmosphere produce winds. Some parts of Earth's surface absorb heat from the sun more readily than others. The uneven absorption causes uneven heating of the air near the surface and creates convection currents. Convection currents are produced by uneven heating. During the day, the land is warmer than the air, and a sea breeze results. At night, the land is cooler than the water, so the air flows in the other direction.